Hello and welcome. Trying another different position for the light this time. Sorry about the scruffy look, but it's Saturday and it's one of those days. Oh, bless you, Poppy. That was Poppy having a good sneeze. Well, first of all, I want to show you what arrived in the post today. Ordered by me, of course. Aren't they gorgeous? Isn't it gorgeous? It's a dark blue velvet pair of trousers. Navy blue or whatever you want to call them. And they've got a nice belt that goes around them. Hardly anybody bid on them. I got them for a fabulous price. And they're new. They're not second hand or anything. They're new. Aren't they lovely? They're going to be calling me the Velvet Lady soon. I absolutely love velvet. But what else came in the post today? This one I was browsing on eBay as usual. And I got that. I'm starting to think about summer. Ha 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 ha, she says. But you know, I'm still thinking about crocheting things for winter for me. But I do really have rather a lot of woolly things for myself for winter. Although, you know, you look at things, you think, I really like that. I'm like that with all that wool that arrived the other day, or yarn that arrived the other day. Looking at all the colours, you know, 4 colours. Can't really do 4 sweaters for me, but I'm so loath to get rid of them. I mean, those of you who do crochet and sell things, you know, how do you decide what you can actually part with? Or what you bought for your business stash and you actually like it so much yourself you're very loath to get rid of it. I'm having one of those sort of times at the moment. The last few things I bought, I want. For me. Well, what else came in the post today? Boho Chic. Ponchos. It's Leisure Arts. I don't think it's got a number. Has it? Can't see a number. But anyways, that's it. Not too keen on the one on the front cover, but there are some others that I like. This one's called a plush topper. And it's done in super bulky weight, although it does look a little bit, I won't say chenille, but it, you know, with them calling it plush topper, I don't know quite, you know, but anyway, it's very nice. Now this one is actually in the book that I've just bought, which is a knitting book, but that's crocheted, it's actually in there. So that's quite nice. That one's called Lacy. I like that one too. Do you know, I've never made myself a poncho since I can't remember when. Must be back in the 60s. That's another picture of it. Not sure what that one's done in. You have a quick lookie for your shopping list. Oh, medium weight, number 4. It's like Red Heart in America. That one is a timeless granny, but it's a slightly different granny square. That one's also done in a medium weight for number 4. It's not quite your normal granny, it does look slightly different. And this one is called Silken Stripes. This is more like your, I don't know whether you call it a poncho or what you would call, I suppose it is a poncho still, but it's like an overtop, isn't it? And that again is done in the medium weight number 4. I think I might get bored making one of those. Now this is the one that I actually love. It's called the Offset Granny. And it's done in bulky weight number 5. And I do like that. It's a bit different than the granny square if you look. It's more like a sort of a rectangular granny square. Well, not rectangular, no. They call it offset granny, isn't it? Because you don't go round and round, you kind of go round corners, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you know what I mean by looking at the picture. And then I think the last, oh no, we've got the broomstick lace. I am rubbish at doing broomstick lace. My tension is not even enough. I get long loopy things. And then the one that's on the front cover, which is called Reverse Motifs. But I do like that that one. I do like that. Pretty chunky too. I keep meaning to show you, I bought myself a cape. It's in fabric and it's got fur around it and fur around the hood. It's very nice, but what I need to do actually is make myself some long black gloves, because being a cape it stops at elbow length. So if you're not wearing long sleeves on a sweater or something, this part of your arm is exposed, and the weather we're having at the moment, you don't want to expose your arms, let's face it. We did have snow, but it's been rather wet sort of overnight, so it made it go a bit sort of slushy. So I was able to get out to the post office today and to do some food shopping, because I can't go out when it's icy. My scooter just slides about everywhere. You have to excuse me, I need a tissue. Oh, it's just reminded me about something. This is the only button box I've got left that was from the family. It's a very old tin that had tobacco in it. St. Bruno Flake. I don't know what happened to all the other old biscuit tin things we had with buttons in. Mind you, with being in the shop, we didn't sort of accumulate a lot of buttons because we had a stack of buttons in the shop, didn't we? So we tended to only get buttons as we needed them out of the shop. You know, we didn't buy buttons like I do now, which, you know, to keep a stock of buttons in. When I move into my craft room, when I move into my craft room, how long is a piece of string? But the end is in sight. You'll be able to see all the collection of buttons that I've accrued, but they're all mostly since I left the shop, yeah. The puffing and the panting is Sky coming in to see what's going on. And please, darling, here she is, I don't know if you can see her or not. Don't knock the tripod and don't knock the screen. They call her the thug. She's just so clumsy. Doesn't know her own strength. She just walks into everything. Yeah, you're beautiful. Can you just go and sit down now, Sky? Go sit down. Go sit down. No, I don't want to wash. Go sit down. Poppy has got a lethal tail. She just knocks everything over with her tail. That was Sky. En route to knocking everything over. Yeah, I went into the supermarket today, as I just mentioned, to get a bit of food in. And I'd already got the crochet books because I went in the other day, if you remember. But I saw this. And I fell in love with the front. Couldn't tell what it was because, of course, it's wrapped up inside cellophane. And it came with one of those books that you crayon in, you know, use coloured pencils with. I've bought loads of them, but I've given them all away to various people. So I actually don't have one for myself. So now I do. I used to love to crayon when I was young, but I've never done it since. I have got some coloured pencils, but they're, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But I fell in love with that on the front cover and I couldn't decide what it was, so I decided to buy the actual book. The one thing I will say about this knitting book is, whoever does the photography, I wish that they would get in touch with Simply Crochet and Inside Crochet, because the photographs in here are absolutely fabulous. They're full on and they're showing every detail, and they're absolutely just as you want them to be, yeah. I mean, for those of you who crochet, there are things in here that you'd be interested in, because there's far more sort of articles about wool in here than there is in the crochet books. That one's called Wonderful Wensleydale. And there's, you know, lots of articles in here. That's the Oxford Yarns store in Oxford. And it shows, it must be a warmer day, it shows all the ladies outside doing the knitting. I do miss having a knit club, do miss it. And this is sort of saying what's in vogue, you know, in the ready to wear section. And that's, again, things for ready, excuse I, ready to wear. What have we got on this page? Oh, this is like knit your state of mind. I mean, you can sort of translate this into crochet your state of mind. I mean, there's lots and lots of articles, which I do firmly believe, that like knitting and crochet is very good for your mind. You know, it's kind of like taking yourself, well, provided you don't get too stressed. But it does calm me down an awful lot. I always crochet when I go to the hospital because, you know, if you feel a little bit nervous about what the specialist might say or something like that, you know, it does help to calm your nerves while you're sat there waiting, because you can wait hours and hours and hours. And if you're the kind of person who gets tense, you just feel yourself going worse. Yeah, this is called like Opening a Sacred Space. I haven't read it yet, but I would imagine it's sort of, you know, kind of just going into a tranquil space in your head, yeah. And then this is Meeting a Lady Who's an Indie Dyer. Again, it's not just knitting that, is it, for indie dyeing yarn? You can use it for crochet as well. That's Stephen West's new book for knitting, I presume. But even with the books here, some of them are about crochet. They're not all about knitting. So even though it's called a knitting book, there's things in it. And that is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? The colours of those yarns. So gorgeous. Probably a lovely price as well. I'm not even going there, because it's hand dyed as well. This one's doing a yarn review. It's doing blues today. It's showing all the different blues you can get and telling you what kinds of yarn you can get. Now this one is the one on the front cover. It's called the Winter Blues. I'm a bit bemused by it actually, because when you get to the pattern, I'll tell you why. The whole theme of the book must be blues. I mean, I do like that, but I don't like the sort of fuzzy or halo as they call it. I think halo means when it's like brushed yarn, isn't it? Oops, a daisy. Sky just rolled over and we nearly had an accident again. I'm not too keen on that one. It looks a bit too big. I do like things to be a bit voluminous, you know, so I can hide a multitude of Sims inside them. And I would never knit a cardigan that long, but I do like the hat. Very pretty, but I wouldn't do it that long. But in actual fact, when you get further along, it does tell you different ways to do a pattern, like doing it shorter and things like that. And I do like that sweater, and I also like that cardigan. So even though I'm not much of a knitter, there's things in here that I do actually like. So that's the pattern I was saying about. It's actually crocheted, it's in this book. And the others are knitted. But I mean, my younger niece would absolutely love that. Even in those shades, I think she would love it. She likes a neutral palette. I'm not keen on the sleeves on that. Looks a bit humped. But it's very, very similar to a pattern that I don't know whose it was from. I mean, I'm as old as, you know, as the hills, like. So I remember things from way back when. So I've got a pattern very, very similar to that. Now this is the one about the style file. You know, I said I didn't like that long coat. It's showing you how it looks like in different colours and what to wear it with, and same with the sweaters and the cardigans, what they look like in different colours. which is a good idea, isn't it, you know? Because, I mean, I very rarely use the pattern colour, but a lot of people don't seem to have the, how can I put it, the thoughts of doing it in a different colour. They do it in the colour of the pattern. Now, whilst I love that Afghan in cables and that, I wouldn't knit it. Obviously, it's too big for me to knit. And there's a cushion. I cannot use circular needles to save my skin. I knit so slowly with them, it drives me nutty. But this is what I mean about the quality of the photographs. Just look at those photos. How I wish the crochet, Simply Crochet, Inside Crochet, Crochet Today, whatever they call these days, would take a leaf out of these books, because that is how I want to see my garments displayed. Yeah, they're cute, cute little boy's hat. Well, it could be little girl ones, divvy in pink. Then we've got a crochet blanket and some knitted gloves. Right, this a query there called Ask Jeanette, and there's another one there with your letters. Well, not your letters, obviously, but the letters. And then that's explaining how to do the double knitting. When I say double knit, I don't mean the thickness of the yarn. I did make a hat in it, and it's super, super warm, but it's a bit of a pain to knit because you knit 2 rows for every 1 row. You do, if you know what I mean. You knit with one colour, then you knit with the other colour. So it comes out like a doubled fabric. Super, super thick for hats. Yeah, what I was explaining to you about that shawl, the one on the front cover, is that it says extra fine merino. And I can't find where it says use the yarn double. And yet it's on a 10mm knitting needle. I mean, obviously it says a circular because of all the stitches, but I mean, I'd have to wing my way around that. I don't think I'd make it anyway because of the weight, yeah. But it's lovely. But I cannot see that you could use superfine merino on 10mm needles and have it looking that thick. Unless Cascade Spontaneous it's called, not spontaneous, spontaneous. 100% extra fine merino wool, approximately 100 metres per 200 grams. Now if it was super fine it would be more than 100 metres, wouldn't it, for a 200 gram ball? I'd have to look that up, I just don't understand it. That's the pattern like for the zigzag cardigan. This one's just advertising any new knitting and crochet books. Oops. Bit of advertising out at the middle, fallen out. Now these are just the patterns, you know, for the card. I was telling you it looked a bit fuzzy. Yeah, it's called Lang Mohair Trend, you know, the little one that looks a bit halo-y. Then the shawl is another one of those, I call them wedge your cheese. You can't really call them triangle because triangular to me is like the triangles down the bottom of the middle of the back. These are just, that's just showing the hat off. I'm skipping over part of these because the pictures were so good that, you know, it was not much point showing the others. The sweater that I thought my youngest niece might like is done in double knitting, Debbie Bliss. Done in a cotton sew. I mean, I do actually buy better quality yarn for my nieces because I'm not like sewing it on them, it's a gift. Again, these are just pictures of instructions and that. And this one's a knitting class in doing Fair Isle. A lot of people struggle with Fair Isle. My only tip for knitting Fair Isle is that I always do it on a larger needle. Because if you're knitting so much on your knitting needles, and then you have to go into this Fair Isle design, you find that, I find anyway, even though I'm a loose knitter, that it pulls in tighter on the Fair Isle. No matter how hard I try to let my yarn go loose, it does pull in. So I usually change to a larger needle when I get to the Fair Isle bit. I've now got 2 of them snoring. Didn't take them long, did it? Didn't take them long to snore. Right, let me see if I've got anything else besides just the patterns. That's telling you how to subscribe. And that one's saying next month there's going to be a cable special. I don't know whether it's going to teach you how to cable, but it's got 20 plus awesome knits. And they're going to be cabled, I presume, or heavily cabled. That's just telling you about back issues, that's telling you about accessories. And that's Pearl About Town. Again, it's another article I haven't read yet. That's advertising the Loop, that's a knitting shop in London. And this one's Cascade Yarns, Superwash on the back. I mean, I don't do much knitting, as you know. It's not because I don't like knitting or anything like that. I just have trouble with my shoulders. And with all the trouble I had with this shoulder, I'm just very reluctant to push it. I'd just rather do small things like baby things, or perhaps, you know, long mittens or even a hat. But I'm just dubious about actually knitting garments anymore. I do knit them, as you know. I knitted one for my niece, but you know, I'm just worried about pushing my shoulder too much. But I do like the look of knitting for certain things. Like, I prefer knitted socks to crochet ones any day. And even gloves or mittens, I prefer the look of knitted ones. But it's all a matter of personal choice, isn't it? I wouldn't say only crocheters are right or only knitters are right. I think it's nice if you can do both. And then you can choose to do whichever you want for whichever garment. I mean, obviously for something open work and lacy and summery, I do like crochet, because I would never sit and knit very fine yarn on very fine needles a sweater that's going to take me all summer to finish it. I would far rather crochet something that would take me, you know, a couple of weeks or so, even if it's fine crochet, because it does work up much faster and much quicker. The downside is crochet does tend to eat up the wool quicker. You can knit something with a lot fewer balls than you can do crochet in it, yeah? Well, Sue is hoping to come on Monday, so I don't know whether she'll have anything to show us or not. I have absolutely nothing to show because I still haven't started anything. After I finished off the surprise, and what I forgot to do was take a photograph of the surprise before I actually posted it off. So that should be fun. I was so intent on the person who's receiving it not knowing what it was that I forgot to take a photo. Hello, you know, well, we can't be on the ball all the time, can we? Some of us are brain dead. And I put myself amongst one of those people who are actually a bit brain dead. As long as I can still keep doing my crochet, I am not bothered. Although I must admit, when it comes to counting, I was watching, who was I watching? Somebody was saying that they couldn't watch TV or listen to anybody or while they were counting. They had to just count, you know, and stop and do something. Couldn't, it was Zoe, I think. Couldn't stop and count while she was doing the video. I'm a bit like that. If I'm counting stitches and then somebody in the room says, oh, twice I did this, or number 8, you know, and then I got 8, 9, 10, 11. I could have been like 100 and something before then. But this figure, what they say on the TV, they say it's going to be 43 degrees or something like that. Then I go 44, 45, 46. I have to be completely concentrated to count when I'm especially when I'm chaining or when I'm casting on. I have to really, really concentrate and be quiet because I lose. I get to 70, 80 and I find myself going 43, 44. I told you I was hopeless. You know, it's not so bad when you're casting on because you can actually count them on the needle, can't you, once you've casted them on. But when you're doing a chain and you get this wiggly worm, you know, you're sort of trying to count the chain. I'd far rather count chain as I'm going along than, you know, get to the end of this long string and have to start going across, because then you do lose count. Well, I'm still trying to think what to do next, although I think a pair of long black gloves. I've got some, but they're those like opera gloves, you know, in a sateen. I mean, they'd be fine, but what I would need would be some black fingerless gloves, like, to go over the top of them, you know, because they're not that warm, are they? But I don't like crocheting fingers in anything because they look like a bunch of sausages, don't they? Unless you're using very, very thin yarn, which if I'm doing a full length up to the elbow sleeveless mitten thing, that's not going to happen. It's going to be double knitting or thicker. Yeah. I've just been watching a video from August, which I must have missed, by the Double Stitch Twins. As you know, Double Stitch Twins do everything very, very open work. But I sort of love their styles of things, because with wearing the plain dresses, not that I've got one on today, but wearing the plain dresses, they make a lot of things that look good over something with everything showing through. I mean, they're young and they wear things over little bikini tops and things like that, whereas me, obviously, being older, you don't want to see any crepey flesh of mine bulging out everywhere. So I tend to wear them over a dress, but they do some nice designs. Anyway, I saw this video, and what they were doing was having a sale of all their made-up items that they'd done, because they wanted to go to Thailand to this Well Woman's thing or other, and it was back in August of 2016, so I don't know how come I missed it, but I missed it. And I've put it on my Urban Gypsy page on Facebook, because what they'd done was they'd filled 2 rails with their ready-made things that they had. And I thought, I wonder if anybody will want to see that. When I get my craft room done, which is showing signs of becoming not that far in the distant future now. And I have got 2 rails that I used to use when I went to do craft fairs. So I just wondered if anybody would be interested in me putting them on coat hangers, you know, and going through them and showing you what I've got. Because showing photographs on Etsy is one thing, isn't it? But I think actually seeing something, you know, being actually shown to you in front and close up of the stitch and things like that, it does give you a better idea of what things are actually like, yeah. So I'll be interested in whether or not you think it's a good idea or you think it's a load of rubbish. Because there's no way I'm going to do a catwalk show of all my stuff, because half of it doesn't fit me. It's either too big or a lot of it is too small, obviously, because I'm a plus size lady. But 1 or 2 things that are in my collection are too big for even for me. But like one of the big cardigans that I've made, that it just does not display on a photograph at all. It just doesn't look right no matter how I try to drape it. It just doesn't look right. So I thought maybe, you know, if I showed it on a video, if anybody was interested, then they could see it properly. That's the only thing I'm thinking about doing. I mean, there's lots of things running around in my head. I mean, this craft room would need to have elastic sides to contain everything I want to put in it. But, like, bear in mind the house will be mine back to me again. So I will have a lot more space, and I will have a lot more freedom to put things up where I want them to be, and dedicate like a space to do my video in, instead of being stuck in the living room around everything. I'm hoping to have a dedicated space that can be my studio, even if it's downstairs, you know, but all the other stuff that's craft related will be in the craft room, if you would get me meaning. So there would be a nice dedicated space maybe in my dining room, say for example, where I can show things off properly. So the family is saying they're thinking of 10 weeks before they can move in the house. Was it 10 weeks? Or was it? I don't know. They said a date. It was earlier than 10 weeks. Can't have been 10 days. But they're pressing on with it, and as soon as it's habitable, and as soon as their bed gets delivered, I think they're probably going to camp out there, you know, to do everything while they're living there. Get everything finished. As long as the bathroom's in, that's in. And I think the heating's partly in, kitchen's partly in. Flooring, carpeting, no, that's not in. Windows are all in. Doors are all in. So I think it's just a lot of cosmetic work that they've got to do once the kitchen's up and running. I mean, they can probably decorate and that round everything, because I think they're longing to go as well, because they've been camping out on a bed that's less than comfortable, and they're used to a bigger bed, because my son's not a tiny person, he's a big person, and they're used to a king size type bed, and they're just in an ordinary double, I don't know what you call them in America, but they're only little. They fit two normal people in, you know, but if you get two people that are a bit larger and like a lot of room, then they're a bit small. I'm in a double bed on my own, and I don't think I'd fit in anything any smaller, because I like to sort of roll around. And I think I mentioned before, I finish up looking like a sausage roll because I roll myself in my duvet. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like fighting to get out, you know. If it was a fire, I don't know how I'd get out, because I have to take the duvet with me, because I'm like wrapped up in it. I don't consciously do it, I must roll around in my sleep and gather it up from either side. So good if I don't have a partner, because the poor soul would be freezing on one side of the bed, because there wouldn't be any duvet on that side. He'd have to be very hardy and like cold weather, or wear fleecy pyjamas. I'll go to bed in his dressing gown. I mean, I did used to sleep in a sleeping bag, but I've got out the habit of that. I washed it, and I tried to get in it one day and it was a bit damp. So I put it on one side to dry it out properly. And for some reason or other, I just put a throw over the top of my duvet. So I'm not actually sleeping in the sleeping bag at the minute. Although I should be, because it's a lot warmer. I'm sleeping in just my, you know, because the heating, the dogs don't like the heating up too high. The family don't like the heating up too high. Whereas me on my own, I like to crank it up, you know, a bit higher than they do, because I'm cold. You know, I think I told you, like with my diabetes and poor circulation, my ends of my fingers go numb, and so do the ends of my toes, and they feel so cold and icy. That's why I wear a lot of the fingerless gloves, you know, that come up my arms. I'm thinking of putting a pair on now, but then again, I'm going to make my dinner, tea, whatever you call it. Main meal of the day. It's what, about 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. My daughter-in-law is babysitting today, so she's not coming home. My son will probably be up there with her for quite a bit of the time, but then he'll probably come home to go to bed. And hopefully to feed the dogs. Or otherwise I'll get a message saying, "Can you feed the dogs for me, Mum?" Don't mind doing it, but, you know, they're used to one master, aren't they, you know. I do it, you know, but they prefer to be fed by one person, or two people, I should say. Anyway, so please let me know what your feelings are about me doing, you know, like a look-through reel of all the things I've got have completed for sale, or whether you would prefer me to do a catwalk, which obviously I can't do for the baby items. I am a little bit bigger than a newborn baby, she said with tongue in cheek. I'm a lot bigger than a newborn baby. So again, just give me an idea as what your thoughts are on that, how you think I could promote myself a bit better. Because once I've done the work and finished the work on the house, I'll be back to the penniless state I'm usually in. And so it is nice if I just earn a little bit of money so that I can buy new yarn and magazines and books to tantalise you all with. I've only got a bit of spare money at the moment because obviously the family are here and we're sharing food and stuff like that, and so I just have a little bit more money in my pocket than normally. But once I get back to being only me, then I'm back to the penniless state again. You have to laugh though, you have to. If you started worrying about things like money, my blood pressure's already high. I have to go back again to have it taken again because when I went back it was still high, still too high. I'm already on 2 kinds of pills for it, honestly, and I'm not under stress. Although maybe, you're under sort of stress that you don't realise, with having people around me when I'm not used to it and things like that. So maybe that is stressing me out when I don't realise I'm being stressed. And also having things to finish off in the house, which got left before Christmas because the workmen and that were doing other things and they had to leave me. So maybe that is underlyingly stressing me out, I don't know. Stress is a weird thing. Because I know a lot of you suffer with it as well as me. We'll have to knit and crochet more. Chill out more. Do whatever makes us happy. If it's a bit of colouring, maybe I should do a bit of colouring. That's supposed to de-stress you, isn't it? I'm not going to turn to drink because been there in my 30s and worn the t-shirt and it didn't do anything. The problems were still there once I got sober again. So I don't drink very rarely now. I'll have a drink, I'm not teetotal, but drinks in moderation. Maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. That's about it. And by that I mean one drink. I don't mean, one bottle of wine. I don't really like wine actually. It gives me tummy troubles. I usually have a rum and a Coke, something like that. But it will be a rum and a fill it with Coke. I don't like start and fall in the bottle or anything like that. Once upon a time I would have, not stopped until I sort of fell over, but those days are long, long gone, I'm glad to say. It was my coping mechanism when my marriage was going really wrong. But I mean, when you get up the following morning, your problems are still there. It didn't solve anything, did it? So, I don't do it anymore. I learned to cope with other things, yeah. I knit more, I crochet more. Trouble is I eat more as well, that's a problem. I hear people say, oh, when I'm doing my knitting, I can't eat when I'm doing my knitting, or I can't eat when I'm doing my crochet, so I lose weight when I'm doing that. I don't. I'll put my crochet down and have something to eat, then pick it up again. I've got to go and see the dietitian as well. Oh, later this week. No, next week. Later next week. And it'll be, how much have you lost? Oh, you've not lost anything. Or, oh, you've gained 2 pounds. I can guarantee I won't have lost anything. Because to diet, you have to try. And I honestly have not been trying since before Christmas. I started, like you say, not dieting, but cutting down, trying to eat more sensible. And then Christmas came, didn't it? And everything went out the window. And I haven't got myself back. Although I am being very good. I mean, I've still got my Christmas chocolates underneath the coffee table there. They're still there. I mean, I have eaten 1 or 2 out of them, but because I'm diabetic, I have to be so careful with anything. Sugar. There's enough hidden sugars in everything I eat anyway, so I have to be very careful about adding extra sugars. So a box of chocolates from my lovely neighbour Julie next door. I've still got about half a dozen left in it. So I think I've done very, very well. Because we're on middle of January now? Yeah, done very well. My parcel to the United States is still lost. I have to fill a form in apparently, so if I report it as missing, and then they have to search for it in the US. The Royal Mail can only search for it as far as it gets to the US. But I don't even know if it's got there, because the last thing on the track and trace was it was on its way to Chicago, to O'Hare Airport. So either the planes got lost between the 14th of December and now, which today is about the 14th, I don't know, 13th, something like that. The plane surely hasn't been flying for a month, you know. It's got to be somewhere, hasn't it? And that's the whole point, isn't it, of paying for track and trace, is so that you know where it is. I mean, the last time one went sort of missing, we could track it as far as the airport. So when I inquired, then it's moved out of the airport and it went to my customer. But this one hasn't even, it's just on its way to O'Hare Airport. Anybody watching who works in O'Hare Airport, will you kindly look for my package, please? It's only a little one, it's only got a baby cardigan in it. So can you look for it, please, before this baby gets born without a cardigan, yeah? Right, I'm going to go now, so you probably won't see me tomorrow, because I still won't have anything to show you, because I've not started anything. I was thinking about it yesterday. But to be honest, I'm so far behind with my YouTube videos. Not my YouTube videos, trying to watch the ones I watch. That I'm trying to catch up. So last night I was trying to catch up. So it meant that I didn't even do anything. I didn't crochet a stitch. This is not me. This has got to stop. Yes, Lady Jane, this has got to stop. That's what my mum used to call me when I was being a bit uppity. You know how you are when you're a teenager. You want this and you want that, and it's got to be this brand and it's got to be that brand. And my mother used to say, oh, hello, Lady Jane's back again. Cut your cloth according to your means, she used to say. I'm 71 and I've still never got the hang of budgeting. So would you say I was a hopeless case? But the stupid thing was, when I had the shops to look after, I was on the ball financially. Knew what I was juggling with, paid all my bills, well, until the very, very end when it got a bit sticky. But up till then I was managing everything, had all the bills ready for the accountant, you know, right in the right order, ticked everything off that had arrived, checked the invoices against everything else, checked the stock. I know I was a hell of a lot younger then, but I can't balance up anything at the moment. If you ask me now what's in my bank account, I cannot tell you. I haven't got a clue. And yet I've got online banking. All I have to do is tap in all my passwords and stuff and look how much I've got in. But I think I've just got this la 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 attitude about money. It'll pull me up sharp, it'll stab me in the bum. Very sure, because I have been spending too much lately. As you know, I've had this thing for velvet. Anything velvet that I fancy, I've got to have it, you know. I'd be like a velvet possessed. It's taken me away from the knitting yarn a bit, but... So I'm going to have to sort all my clothes out and put them all where I can find them all, and then maybe I'll stop buying more. But that will all be in the future, when the family moves out. I'm going to be so busy in the future, aren't I? I think we ought to have a come and help Janet party, you know, like... I've already got Sue enrolled in helping with the stash room and everything, craft room. So I think we should have everybody roll round and everybody help. Oh, it's going to be fun. Not. I know you all think it's going to be fun, but you won't be the one who's doing it, who's lugging all the books up the stairs. I'll be the one who's like, When I start doing it, you can guarantee it's going to be a good few weeks before it gets finished. I tell you not. Anyway, I'm going to go now, so the next video should be Monday. That's if Sue turns up. It should be Monday. And then she can see how she likes sitting in the full glare of the spotlight like Angelina Jolie. So bye for now. Enjoy your weekend.